Field Activity Plan. The FAP serves as a guidebook for all research team members, outlining safety measures and procedures for fieldwork. In this video, you'll learn about the different sections of the Field Activity Plan and their significance for ensuring safety during field research. The sections are information about the project, information about the people involved in the project, operational needs to conduct the project, and emergency preparedness and response protocols. This information is essential for understanding the scope of the project. Section 1. Description of what research is being conducted, what methods are being used to collect data, where it is going to be conducted, and when it is scheduled for. Section 3. Hazards and controls. This is a crucial component of the FAP that every group member must be aware of. Hazard assessment is a requirement under any occupational health and safety legislation. HSE has tools available to help, like web application available to University of Alberta personnel, table in the FAP and Field Research Hazard and Control Library. The key here is to list tasks you are doing. From those tasks, identify the hazards of the tasks being performed and the controls to mitigate the hazards that can be put into place. The Field Research Hazard Control Library gives examples of different hazards and controls that can be put into place. It is important that groups don't just cut and paste information but ensure that it is tailored to the work they are doing in that field season. Controls must be the ones that are in place. Section 6. Permissions required. Depending on the location of the research and the type of research being conducted, grant administration at the University of Alberta operates through the coordination of systems between the Research Administrative Services and Research Ethics Office. REO ensures that research projects, whether funded or unfunded, meet ethical standards and comply with institutional information about the people. Field researchers play a vital part of the university's strategic plan, educating, researching, and engaging in deliberate, purposeful ways in order to make a lasting, positive difference. Sections 2, 7, 10, and 12 provide information about the participants involved in the field activity. Section 2. Field researchers, volunteers, and collaborators. Information on all personnel who will be participating in the field research project. The emergency contact information forms for personnel must be filed out and signed and taken to the field to be used in the case that emergency medical services are called. A copy of these forms should be held with the department or lab back at the university. Email addresses and phone numbers of the participants must be listed in Section 2. Section 7. Training and immunizations. The Hazard Assessment and Control section will include training that is required as controls for the hazard. All field personnel, including the supervisor, principal investigator, even if they are not going to be with the field participants, should be listed in this section, and details of the training received. Copies of the training certificates should be kept with the laboratory or department. This is also the section where required vaccinations are input. The yes/no in this section indicates that the principal investigator has discussed any immunization requirements based on hazards and location. You do not have to list the immunizations received so as to protect the privacy of the participants. Section 10. Drivers and passengers. This section indicates individuals who have received driver training and are U of A approved drivers, either in U of A vehicles or in rental vehicles. If U of A personnel are riding in collaborators' vehicles, you should list details of their vehicles and get a copy of their certificate of insurance. Section 12. Insurance registration requirements. This section is used to ensure that all field research participants are aware of any insurance gaps that may exist, particularly for international travel, and to ensure that they have registered for the appropriate travel medical insurance. Sections 3B, C, and D, 8, 9, and 11 deal with the logistics of conducting field research. Some of these items will be addressed at the field site. However, the FAP identifies logistics that need to be addressed prior to leaving. Section 3B. Daily field safety meetings. These meetings will be discussed in Module 3. However, you need to ensure that your group has obtained the daily field safety logbooks prior to departure and are trained on their purpose and use. Depending upon how the research is conducted, there might be one group who will be doing the morning tailgate talks and then sticking fairly close together to collect data. There might be others that will go out as smaller groups coming back together as a larger group. Each logbook is numbered and a list will be kept of those books that were handed out to the research group. HSE will be conducting audits of the logbooks and the field activities in the fall season and will ask the group to produce all books given to the group. Section 3C, Field Work Site Safety Inspection. An inspection is required at the field site. You can access the template available but revise it to adapt to your site. If it is just a one-day field trip, then the inspection will be done by a supervisor at the beginning of the day. If you are going to be at a field site any length of time, the site should be inspected upon arrival at an interim time and then nearer to the end of the research project. Section 8. Accommodations and meals. This is important as it allows the reviewer know what you are doing for meals and accommodations and provides information about what hazards might be present related to the accommodation and meals. Section 9. Transportation. Field research teams may use a variety of transportation methods to reach the field site. As much information should be provided for flights, car rentals, public transportation, watercraft, etc. Section 11. Equipment. A listing of equipment being taken into the field will prove invaluable in the event of an incident or damage to the equipment. A reminder that personal items are not insured by the university. This list can be attached to the document. The FAP is designed to provide comprehensive information that can be used in the event of an incident or emergency in the field. Sections 4 and 5 deal with emergency response. Section 4. Emergency Response Plan. While it may be impossible to predict all emergency events, we can plan for the most likely emergencies. Incidents that are more likely to occur should be listed here. Having a plan to call for help and a communication device that will allow you to place a call, knowing where the first aid kits or fire extinguishers are, will be crucial in the event of an emergency. Running through what emergency events could happen and practicing the emergency response plan is very important and will help to reduce panic and chaos in the event of an incident. Section 4A. Emergency Contacts. All research team members should be aware of who is in contact in the event of an emergency. The FAP is to be taken into the field and kept in a place available to everyone on the research team. Emergency contacts can also be written down in the daily field safety logbooks for easier access, especially when farther away from the rest of the group. Section 4B. Potential emergencies. The location of emergency facilities, first aid equipment, fire extinguishers, automated external defibrillators, etc. is crucial for the group to know how to access in the case of an emergency. It is also important for the research team to recognize the limits of their capabilities and have information available to call in first responders when needed. The completion of the FAP should identify specialized rescue if it is required. These decisions should be made at the pre-planning stage, contractual agreements made and details written into the FAP prior to leaving. Discussion of qualifications and experience of team members prior to going to the field will set expectations before an emergency occurs. Section 4C. Emergency Escalation Procedure. This section outlines how long a group will wait if a check-in has been missed before escalating the need to call out to others. The grace period should be between 1 and 3 hours at maximum. The person who will be escalating is not in the field. They are the person that is to be checked in with at the beginning or end of day. This could be a supervisor or department contact back at the university. After the lapse of the grace period, the department contact would reach out to the next person on the list to see if the person has checked in with them, and so on. Section 5. Communications for check-in procedures. Working in remote locations outside of cell phone range presents communication challenges. Items such as satellite phones or in-reach devices allow for communication to occur when cell phone service is not available. It is important that research groups are aware of all devices and contact numbers for group members and establish regular check-in times. It is important to note that communications must be sent and an acknowledgement of receipt obtained as part of the check-in procedure.